Today, we're going to compare this Paul Reed Smith Custom 24 core guitar and this Schecter C1 Elite guitar to see, does price really affect sound? Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this Schecter C1 Elite and this Blackstar HT 5-watt amp, and we're going to take that Custom 24 core guitar and the Mark V Mini in 10-watt mode. We're going to go through the cleans and the dirties on both amps and these guitars using both the features that these guitars have. They both have coil splitting technology that you can split the humbuckers into single coils to get like maybe more of a Fender type tone. We're going to see how they sound in a drop deep tune and in standard tuning. And let's see, not so much which one's better, because that's not what we're about here on this channel, right? We're just going to see, what if this is what you have? A Schecter and an HT5. Are you missing something by not upgrading? Better yet, if you have a Paul Reed Smith and a Mark V, have you kind of overshot it with price? Maybe you bought too much, more than what you need, and you could go back to this. Or, as I like to point out, maybe this could be your new go-to gigging guitar if you're afraid of scratching your expensive guitar. I want to see how these guitars compare and these amps compare to each other. Not to see if they're better than each other, but to see if I can get usable tones. I'm going to mess up the quote, but it doesn't matter. I just want to give you the idea. One of my favorite quotes in the world is John Lennon, who said, give me a tuba and I'll get you something out of it. Now, that's not the exact quote, but the intent of that statement was to say that he's a musician, and if you give him any kind of equipment, anything, he'll figure out how to get you music out of it. That's what we're going to do today. Can we get good music out of both a $400 guitar and $400 or $500 amp, and a $3,000 guitar and a $1,500 amp? Let's see. So let's start with the goods, right? We're gonna do the Custom 24 through the Mark V in gain mode and play you a little something. This is just the rhythm sound of the amp. We're using the Mark II C+ mode, and we'll continue to always be in 10-watt mode on the amp. Since this amp's 5 watts, the odds are you're gonna use it for studio or at home play. So let's make the amps comparable that way. Check this out. Okay, so now we have that in our ear. Let's listen to now this Schecter C1 Elite in the Blackstar HT5 doing that same song. Okay, so did you feel that they were holding their own with each other? Well, let's continue this challenge on again. We're going to do now the Custom 24 through, again, the Mark V 25 and play some lead stuff. Just an E minor pentatonic with an E chord behind it maybe, and just hear how the lead tone sounds on this amp and guitar. So now that you have a sense of that, let's do that same kind of riff with same kind of E minor pentatonic with the Schecter C1 Elite through the Blackstar HT5. It's not fair to let the expensive guitar go first in every comparison, so in this one, let's go ahead and start with the Schecter C1 Elite. We're going to put this in single coil mode on the neck pickup. So neck pickup, single coil mode, through the Blackstar's clean channel, and play something that would be more like a Strat or a single coil type riff. Now let's go ahead and do that same thing with the Custom 24 through the Mark V in its clean mode. Notice that in the first one that was digital reverb, and this will have spring reverb. Tell me if you noticed a difference. Now Now let's see what this guitar can really do. I put it in drop D. I got the amp as kind of aggressive as I can. Gain is definitely a 10. The mids are a little scooped out, but I'm using that ISF switch to kind of put those mids back in. That's that switch on it, or the knob that converts it from what they call American sound to a British sound. Let's check out the song now. Let's do that same song. We're still beating drop D on the Custom 24 through the Mark V. The Mark V is, of course, in now with the extreme mode on its settings. It's the most aggressive I can get this amp to sound. Here it comes. So since we're in drop D, let's do some clean, like some pick through, some modern clean song styles. That will be in drop D. We're gonna go ahead and do that with the neck humbucker on the Custom 24. We're gonna do it again, but here's the problem I'm having. The humbucker neck pickup on this Schecter is too aggressive, and the amp being only at 5 watts, it clean breaks up. So I didn't feel that was fair, because even though you could say, well, that's an honest comparison because that's what the amp would do, you know, a real musician would make it sound better. So all I did was split the coil again. So this is the exact same comparison again, except for this guitar will be in drop D, clean with the neck single coil mode through the clean channel of the Blackstar. You'll notice you really can't even tell if I didn't tell you. Well, no comparison would be complete if I didn't crisscross a little bit. So now I want to run the Schecter through the Mark V. This is what the Schecter sounds like through an expensive amp. That's a question you get asked a lot. Should you put all your money into an expensive guitar or expensive amp? Well, here's an inexpensive guitar, or a price-friendly guitar, I should say, with an expensive amp. Now let's do the Custom 24. Take the expensive guitar through the price-friendly amp. We'll be running through the Blackstar. Well, did it come out the way you thought? I was pleasantly pleased, but it came out exactly the way I thought. I thought the Blackstar and the Schecter would sound fantastic. I thought the Custom 24 and the Mark V would sound fantastic. They did. I liked both. Personally, here's what I'll tell you, not to sway you, but just so you know my input on this since I did the experiment. I thought the Schecter had bigger sound. I thought that putting string through body seemed to change the way the guitar overall sound against the Custom 24. It was more comfortable on my arm without the violin carve. It didn't cut into my arm. I preferred the slightly smaller neck of the Custom 24, although this neck is very comfortable and I have no problem with this. This is like a Fender Modern C style. Overall, I like the guitar a lot. I have to admit, if they made this Schecter in a color that I would like more than just red, I would buy one. In fact, I'm probably gonna scour the internet to see what cool colors I can come across. The other thing I would mention is the Blackstar. I absolutely preferred the Blackstar's reverb over the Mark V. The reverb I thought sounded more legitimate. The springs in the Mark V are tiny. The spring cage is probably about 9 inches long, if that. And being that small of a spring cage, it's really shallow and splashy, and it's not ideal for my ears. It works for what I use it for, but I preferred the digital reverb. I thought it sounded better. The clean channel on the Mark V I preferred, and the gain channels, believe it or not, I could take them or leave them. Both sounded good to me. Maybe the Mark V had more clarity to it. I think I anticipated that. Definitely had a little bit more push having 5 extra watts, double the wattage of the Blackstar. But given the price comparison, there's no shame in the Blackstar, right? In fact, same thing. How can you hate a guitar that goes for $700 new against a $3,000 guitar and a $400 or $500 amp against a $1,500 amp? Kudos to Schecter and Blackstar and companies like this that make fantastic gear that really kind of mess with your head now. The question is, do you even need expensive gear anymore? You know, and I guess the answer is no, you don't. Doesn't mean you shouldn't buy it, right? If you want it, you want it. You can't get around that. So do you like videos like this? Would you like to see more of this? Comparison videos, right? I love doing this. This is fun. So you know, I don't do this for YouTube. This is something I do every day of my life, and then I'm just putting a camera on it now. So every day I'm always comparing something like this. I always curious, right? I probably do it, seriously, no joke, pretty much every day. So, so if you'd like to see more videos where I actually do this and look at different gear, let me know in the comments. I'll definitely make more of these kind of videos. As always, thank you for your time and know your gear. Don't forget, if you bought a Know Your Gear t-shirt, please take a picture of yourself with your guitar or a landmark somewhere where to identify where you are in the world and send it to me at this address. And what I'm going to do is make a new montage ending with all the people with their shirts. Now, if you're a little shy, I understand that. Be inventive. Maybe put your t-shirt over your guitar. Or if you're shy, just put, when you send the email to me, that you'd rather not have a large picture. When I do the pictures, I can make them smaller and larger, and I may make the people who are shyer smaller so that you'll see yourself, but it won't be so in everybody's face. Please send me those pictures. Like I said, I'm working on the montages right now. I will continue to update them. I just think it'd be cool to see all the people who have a Know Your Gear shirt around the world. And again, thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it.